Welcome back to Trek Retrek here on Geek the F Out. You're never gonna know what we were laughing about.
No.
We're gonna. No, they probably that will. Way. I'm Johnny. I'm your captain.
And I'm Kayla. I'm your ensign.
And we're here to talk about Miri. Again.
Yes. You can guess why we're saying again.
Deja vu. I was thinking, full disclosure, we've done this before.
Yeah.
But someone had the wrong settings on their microphone and it did not sound good. I recorded it through my webcam instead of my expensive mic. And so maybe we'll put that up as a special feature or something.
Huh? Yeah.
No, probably not. It's just going in the bin.
I was gonna say, I couldn't tell on my end. So until you sent me those clips, I was like, oh, that does sound different.
I think it's
the irony that the clip that you sent me said, "How do I sound?"
How do I
sound? Said good. When that was the one and that wasn't the
sweet.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So, Miri.
Let's get into it. Yeah, we have thoughts. Especially this is going to be our second time talking about it. We have thoughts. That is for sure.
We're trying something new this week with actually breaking the episode down for you because we have lots of people who show up every week and are like, "Damn, I should have watched this again before watching you guys talk about it." So we're going to give you...
Which you still should.
Yeah, you still should.
This episode, a little problematic, but for the most part, the rest of the episodes have been great. Yeah, just like a quick little refresher. You can watch it on Paramount Plus if you have it. If not, you can watch it free on Pluto TV. Not an ad, not sponsored. They did watch my story. Reach out to us.
Yeah, Pluto.
Sponsor us.
We want the bag.
Keep saying Pluto TV. Maybe they'll pop up. Like what do you like Beetlejuice or like
Manifest.
Bloody Mary or something.
Like
Bloody Mary would be a bad one.
Candyman.
Something like that that'll pop up if you keep saying its name. But yes, go watch it. Yeah, it'll just help with these discussions and breakdowns, or you can just watch, but it helps.
So let's get started.
Let's go. Summary.
Oh, right. That's me. TVGuide.com says Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and Yeoman Rand arrive on a planet resembling Earth in the 1960s and discover it has been ravaged by a genetically engineered virus that kills adults and extends childhood.
Yep. That's it. We're done. I feel like we make this joke every time.
I was just going to say, we've done that joke every episode.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I
think we've each done it, so.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do a little breakdown and we'll pause and talk about different scenes. So pretty much we start off with a SOS signal from an exact duplicate of Earth, and Kirk, Spock, Janice, Bones, and a couple other dudes beam down to investigate it. They find a 1960s Earth that has been stuck like that for centuries, and out of nowhere a dude attacks them that seems to have the intelligence level of a child, and then has a seizure and dies.
Yeah.
That's kind of this first bit.
Yeah, we're cloning planets now.
Yes, that was my first comment. Another clone. Not only do we have human clones, but now we have planet clones.
Yeah, and then I have I'll put that in favorite lines.
Okay.
I'll put both of those in favorite lines. So yeah, that's
okay.
That's all I have for the first part.
Okay. I have that Spock's makeup and ears look really good. For once, that's important. Gotta keep track of it. And the guy that ran out and attacked them and died, he reminded me of the albino dude from Benchwarmers. That's afraid of the sun. And then the other thing I had was that was the worst acted seizure I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was real bad. Didn't really do much, just kind of like I didn't even know that was supposed to be a seizure until yeah, Bones said it, and I was
Yeah,
like,
some kind of
"Oh,
seizure.
okay." And then for the next part, they find a kid named Miri who tells them how the Grups, aka the grown-ups, were hurting kids before they died from a disease, and there's only kids left now on the planet. Meanwhile, Spock and the guard dudes go out to find kids, but the kids start throwing rocks at them and taunting them. And then Kirk asks Miri to take them where the doctors work, but right before they go, she sees the disease on him and gets really scared. While McCoy starts working on the vaccine, they realize that they were trying to prolong life and it accidentally caused the disease that killed all the adults and kids. And that the kids are actually super old and are aging really slowly.
Mm-hmm.
So my first thing was creepy Kirk strikes again /
Yeah.
keto alert.
Yeah, the pretty name for a pretty young woman, which is not by itself a terrible line. It was the delivery, and I don't know if it was direction or. I mean, you would have to assume that it was the director wanted it done that way. But if you say pretty name for a pretty young woman compared to pretty name for a pretty young woman, two entirely different meanings to the depending on your inflection.
Very.
And this was not the innocent one. It was just really strange.
It was very strange, and even when they find out that, she's technically 300 years old or whatever, that does not make it okay. No, it just doesn't.
It's like the 3,000-year-old anime girl that looks like she's like 12, but she's an immortal vampire. No.
No, and yeah, we're not fans of this whole thing, and it's interesting because Kirk plays into it even before Spock later says like, "Oh, you should." Essentially, he said like, "Take advantage of the fact that she, does have a crush on you," or he doesn't take advantage of it, but like he was saying that's why she wants to hang out with them, even though the Grups before treated the kids really badly. But yeah, it's not the best direction writing, whoever did that. It's not good.
Yeah, I think Spock's line during the part you were talking about is like, she's becoming a woman. And I have, this isn't a line from the episode, but like the look on Kirk's face, I felt like in his brain, he was like, what, like right now? Like,
yeah.
It was
not good. Not good. And it sucks because like the rest of the episode is good.
Yeah.
It's different from what we've seen before and entertaining, and it just kind of sucks that that's in there.
Yeah, that Kirk and Miri subplot really brings down the rest of, even though it's still, kind of a tropey thing. These kids are left trying to fend for themselves. It's not done in a poor way. Aside from the Kirk and Miri stuff, because it was definitely filmed and acted with like a romantic bent to it, and it's just odd. It's an odd decision.
Yeah. That's all I have for that part. Is that all you have for that too?
Yeah.
Okay. So Miri takes Kirk to find the other kids. Meanwhile, John, which is kind of like the leader of these kids, John and the kids plan to take the communicators away from them. And then Kirk and Miri come in, but immediately get ambushed by the kids, and one of them jumps on Kirk, which he ends up stunning and killing by accident, even though it was just set to stun. Um, I can't remember if it was actually in these scenes or the next ones. I think it might have been in the next ones. So I'll just save my comment. I just had one comment, but do you have anything on those scenes?
Um, the only thing I have that I think applies to this section is, and they you know, in stories like this, what the fuck are the kids eating? Like, where's the food
Yeah.
coming from? They do say, Kirk says something like, I think this is much later,
Mm-hmm.
but their food is about to run out. But
Mm-hmm.
like, what are they? How are they surviving?
Lots
Like,
of canned foods
apparently,
when we would practice or not practice or prepare for disasters in elementary school, how we were always told to have like a can or not a can, a bag of canned food to have just in case. I'm guessing for more, probably for earthquakes, most likely.
now we have now we have doomsday preppers who have like entire bunkers under their
Yeah.
house with all sorts of MREs and stuff.
Mm,
Um,
I love a good MRE cracker. So good.
can't say that I've ever had one.
I think most people don't like them, but I really liked them as a kid.
It makes me think of Pershing from Obi-Wan and how he
Oh
liked, was
yeah.
it the red ones or the
Yes.
yellow ones?
I think I mentioned the MRE crackers when we were watching that. It reminded me of
Um,
those. But yeah, I have no idea. Who knows where the food is coming from? Yeah, that is a mystery. So the
mhm.
next part, back at the lab, Spock says that since they're older, that's why the disease is progressing faster, aka the crew people. But Spock is still a carrier, and they find out that they have 7 days left to live. And then the kids lure the adults out, and while they're out, they sneak in and steal their communicators. And a few days go by and they start to go a little crazy. Janice freaks out in front of Kirk, which Miri sees and then runs back to the kids after that. Although we don't really see her running back to them, she's just back with them again. Which I think this is the part where Miri's randomly sharpening pencils.
Yeah, they're
And
just trying to keep her busy.
yeah, that's what I figured they were doing. Because then she asks Kirk, "Should I keep doing this?" And he says, "Yeah, just keep doing that."
We
And
could use a couple more, something like
why?
that.
I
Yeah,
did not understand
like
that. I put Janice exposing her chest, and by exposing, it was like a corner, not actually exposing
yeah.
her chest. Just thought it'd be funny to write that down. Um, And then she asks him to look at her legs, which she has the disease all over her legs. So I just found that interesting that she's like, I always wanted you to look at my legs. I always try to get you to do that. And now, like, I have disease all over them.
hmm
Um,
Which I think this was the first time we really got. It was kind of hinted at in The Enemy Within, um,
mm-hmm.
in another problematic, semi-gross way. Uh,
Yeah.
but this is the first time we really have like confirmation from Rand that she's also into Kirk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we knew Kirk was into her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the first time it's been reciprocated.
Yeah.
Reciprocated.
Um,
Um, Yeah, and it's interesting because Miri's turn back to the kids isn't super obvious. Like she sees that interaction happen, but we don't see her literally go back. We see her when she's back there. So you kind of just
which I,
assume she gets jealous.
yeah, I kind of appreciate that in a way that
Mm-hmm.
they didn't need to fill in every blank. Like we see her
Yeah,
back with the kids. You could also speculate that maybe she was still working with them the entire time and she was just kind of like a
true,
decoy lookout. It's
true.
left up to you to fill in the blank to figure out which way it is. I kind of like that they
Yeah,
didn't just spell everything out for us. Um,
that's fair.
I tend to think she just like you were speculating that she got jealous of the dynamic between Rand and Kirk and decided, well, I'll show her.
Yeah, that's what I figured as well. Anything else on those scenes?
I think this is the part where McCoy and Kirk are talking, and like they've been down here. It's been like 3 days, and their uniforms are all torn to shit.
Yes.
Like, except Spock's. I think Spock's was fine because,
of course, because he's perfect.
And I get they're trying to show in some ways that like the virus is having an effect on everyone. Not on Spock because he talks about being a carrier but not actually being affected by the virus. But I thought it was interesting because we see Kirk's shirt is just ripped and you see some of his chest. McCoy has like a black t-shirt on underneath his uniform shirt. And at first, when I was first looking at him, I'm like, that's weird because like the black collar is part of Kirk's uniform. But because McCoy was wearing the black undershirt, it looked like it wasn't. I think it still is. Like the black collar is still sewn to the blue shirt. But maybe DeForest Kelley just wanted to wear the black T-shirt underneath, or
who knows?
Who knows? I think this was also the section with the. Was this the lovey-dovey bunk section? Or was that later?
No, that's next.
Later.
That's the next scenes. Yeah, so then after that, back with the kids, Miri hatches a plan to bring Janice there because Kirk will try to find her. That's when that line is.
Yeah.
With only a few hours left, Kirk warns Miri that they're all gonna die unless she helps them and exposes the disease on her arm. Kirk and Miri go to see the kids, and Kirk pleads with them to give them communicators so they can test the vaccine. Chaos ensues as the kids refuse and attack Kirk. So this is the lovey-dovey, Mr. Lovey-Dovey, and they keep saying bunk bunk or bonk bonk.
Yeah, I thought it was bonk, so I'm thinking, because they kept like hitting the desk with sticks or hammers or stuff when they would say it, so I thought it was bonk, but you said the caption said bunk.
Yes,
that probably makes more sense in context, but because I was hearing bonk and they were hitting things, I just keep thinking of the horny jail
bonk bonk
stuff
Shiba.
That online
Doge and yes, they were very a la the Lost Boys, never growing up, which you would think they would, I don't know, read a book after all this time or develop, I don't know, somewhat higher intelligence than whatever age they were stuck at when it happened.
Yeah,
I don't know. That would be a very interesting experiment to run. Like if kids were just literally stuck on their own, would they grow up mentally, essentially? Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Once again, I think to what you said before on how they don't show Miri going back, I think it's kind of the same thing where they don't show Miri bringing Janice there either.
Yeah, like you fill in the blanks. Like she talked about what she planned on doing and she did it. We didn't need to necessarily see it happen.
Yeah. Although for me, I was kind of curious if Janice would be suspicious at all or if she would just be like, yeah, I want to help the kids. So, I think that's... Oh, also when Kirk like shows Miri that she has a disease on her arm, how did he know that it was on her arm?
Yeah, you think she would have noticed before Kirk did, but
yeah, or maybe she did and it was just in denial, and he's like, dude, it's right there.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Oh, and the The Tell Them Jim chant. They just like to chant things. These kids love a good chant.
I'd have shot these fucking kids.
Don't say that. You can't say
I
that.
Why they're 300 years old, right? It's okay. I'd have stunned them all with the phaser. Unless did they steal the phasers?
Yeah, they still no.
When they stole the communicators?
No, I
he
think
still
they just
have a
stole
phaser?
the communicators. No, I'm
Yeah, I'd have
second
phased
guessing
him.
myself. Okay.
If I had my phaser,
Stunned.
I'd have stunned the shit out of them.
There you go. And then the creepy one kid watching while they all hit Kirk.
Yeah, with the green wig.
Yeah. He was just standing, and then they like zoomed in on him. And then Kirk just randomly throws one of the kids to the floor too during that scene.
He deserved it. I hated that fucking kid.
Yeah, that kid was annoying as fuck. I will give you that. I would probably help you stun him. Just stun. Not permanently harm or injure.
No, I don't want to kill the interview with the vampire kids, but a good maximum stun.
Yeah,
a good maximum stun setting.
There you go.
Knock them out for a couple hours, and then when they start to wake up, hit them again. That's a good measure.
I'm dead.
Especially that kid.
Yeah. Anything else about those scenes?
Because it was right after this that they go back. So when Spock and McCoy are alone with the vaccine, and Spock just is like, "That's the next scene." Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So back with Spock and Bones. Bones is getting restless and decides to inject himself with the vaccine, even though it has not been checked. And guess what? Yeah. It ends up working. It's a Christmas miracle. Big surprise. He lives. And then that's when Kirk, Janice, and the kids come in and see him healed, and all is great and well in the world. And I forget what they said they were going to do with the kids. Like they were going to send them to a different planet.
No, they were sending teachers from
that's what they were doing.
Starfleet to the planet. Yeah.
Yes, to help them. And that's it. That's all we got. That's all I got.
Yeah, so Spock just kind of leaves Bones alone with the vaccine. Like, yeah. I feel like Spock knew what he was gonna do, but he's like, bickering isn't gonna help us. I'm gonna go check on the captain, and he fucks off and leaves McCoy alone with the vaccine. So McCoy's like,
maybe, who knows? I don't know. Like, yeah, I think Spock is smart, but I don't know if he's very logical, obviously. But is he intuitive to think of that?
I mean, humans are rash and unpredictable, so maybe if he's thinking of it logically, McCoy would not try it because he can't be certain what it's going to do.
Yeah, and Spock, I mean, I guess in a way is kind of psychoanalytical, or psychoanalytical in a way where he's studied a lot of that stuff, but in terms of applying that knowledge, maybe not the best. So yeah, I don't think he knew. I don't think he knew he would do that. I think it just happened, and of course they got lucky.
Oh, and a note I had back when Kirk does stun that one kid that accidentally ends up dying, the one that had, for lack of a better term, turned like a zombie.
Yep.
That phaser sound and visual effect is the only time the phaser has that sound and visual effect through the entire series. It's weird.
Very weird. So I'm reacting like we haven't already talked about all this.
Acting.
This is why I was.
The only other thing I have for breakdown stuff is cups in this episode.
Yes.
Like the very end,
Cups.
there's a crewman walking behind Kirk on the bridge. She's in one of the blue dress uniforms, not dress uniforms as in like dress up, but one of the dresses.
Yes.
She's got cups on a tray.
Literally. Cups on a tray. Snakes on a plane, but cups on a tray.
Okay.
Cup Watch 2023.
Cup Watch 2023. That's pretty much it for this episode.
I
have.
Go ahead.
The Kirk and Miri stuff, I don't know. We talked about it a little bit. Like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around why they did it the way that they did it. Like, they had to have known how it was coming off, right? Like, this wasn't a, what do you mean? No, that's definitely not the intention.
I mean, we say that about a lot of things nowadays. So
yeah.
It's, honestly, I don't think it's that far of a stretch, especially because we know there was creepy people, you know.
I can understand, like, if they had Miri, like, obviously crushing on Kirk, but the way that they had, the way that Shatner was directed to act back off Miri is the part that was, like, why? Why did you do it that way?
No, gross.
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 I'm glad you were just as, like, put off by it as I was, because I'm watching it, I'm like, this is.
Think anyone with
good. And
2 brain cells would be put off, and if you aren't, then maybe you should reevaluate your life and go to therapy. Just saying. Therapy for everyone. Yeah, other than that, I really liked that episode, and like I said before, I felt it was different than the other ones. And I think this was Kirk's best acting performance. Especially with the kids when he was pleading with them. At least so far. Obviously, I've not seen any of the others. So, I thought he did a good job. Except for that, what was that one part where... I think it was when they were hitting him. His acting got a little shaky there. But other than that, that scene where, he's pleading with them was good. Good stuff.
That vaccine works fast, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Real fast. Like that.
And those lesions that they had on them healed up real well. I guess that's 23rd century medicine for you.
I mean, I guess. But, like, do our bodies work that way? Like, medicine can work fast, but, like, does that also mean it changes our cells to be manipulated and heal quicker? That's crazy. That's a whole other level of healing. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I don't recall. Yeah, I don't recall if there's any in this series, but I know in later. But then later series are still set like over 100 years after this. So they've got like medical equipment that, like, if you've got a cut, it like stitches your skin back together and there's no scar, nothing. Like it's a dermal regenerators. But this was just a shot, so like I'm not sure, but you know, suspension of disbelief, I suppose.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see that happen. Cool stuff.
And it's fun to talk about it and theorize about it, but that doesn't make it shitty. It doesn't ruin the entire series. Some things you just gotta.
Yeah,
anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've got for
Same.
This. I need to bring up my.
I just have lines.
Yes, favorite moments,
is that
lines,
after
etc. Yep.
Trivia, or is that now?
Yeah. No, that's now.
Okay, that's what I thought. I have. Now this is marvelous. The most horrible conglomeration of antique architecture I've ever seen.
I had that.
Yep. By Bones.
I had that. Yeah, I had that written down too. It's just a weird line. Like, I don't know if he's ragging on the 60s or if he's ragging on the dilapidated nature of the planet itself, because
Who knows?
it's in bad shape, because it's been like, they said it's been like 300 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Has been a long time.
21, yeah. But it was a funny line.
Yeah.
And the one that I
that.
have is when they first beam down and Kirk's like early 19th century, and Spock gives him the actually mid 19th century, 1960s.
But actually,
Spock was very precise.
Yeah. My other line is, I never get involved with older women, from Kirk at the end. Like, okay. Sure, Jan. Sure.
I have Spock when they're talking about this vaccine, and Spock's like, it could be a beaker full of death.
Good analogy. But like, it could
wasn't,
be.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
It could be, but it wasn't.
Could have been.
But
you know, plot armor. It's great.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously. Yeah.
Can't kill Bones that quickly. This isn't Game of Thrones.
Right. I have the old outline, so I don't remember if that's what they said was supposed to be before or after this, but
well, it doesn't matter. We don't have any. This episode did not deserve to have any.
Yeah, it would be the next section.
Yeah, I watched it multiple times and I couldn't really come up with anything. I feel like I partially there wasn't really anything, partially just like was turned off by the episode.
Yeah.
It doesn't deserve to have it. It has too many creepy underlying things to it. So that'll be a pass this time.
Sorry, I was pulling something up. So next section would be episode trivia.
Mm-hmm.
I have as always, episode trivia is brought to you by Memory Alpha. Even though they don't know it. They're not going to, but Pluto TV might if we talk about them enough.
Pluto TV, sponsor us. Mentioned you a lot.
Maybe we should stop
you saw our
mentioning
story.
them for free. As often is the case in casting young adults, both Kim Darby, who played Miri, and Michael Pollard, who played John, spelled Jahn, were a fair amount older than the supposed preteens they portrayed. Darby was 19, so Miri was a 19-year-old, and Pollard was 26. Miri that actress did not look like she was 19.
No.
But she was.
Like maybe 17, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been makeup, but also makeup at the time was not that great. So who knows?
Maybe she was just young. Like it's so weird. I remember, being in customer service in both with a certain national electronics chain for over a decade, and then working with state parks. I've seen lots of people of many different ages come and go, and I've seen 14-year-olds who look like they're 18, and I've seen 21-year-olds who look like they're 13. It's genetics are weird.
It's funny because when I was like 15, 16 and I had a full face of makeup and everything, people would be like, oh, what are you, like 23, 24? I'm like, I'm a teenager. And of course now when people are like, oh, what are you 23, 24? I'm like, oh, thank you. Yeah. Love that skincare.
For me, and I think this is the case
sunscreen.
with bearded individuals a lot, it depends on how long my beard is. If I have a longer beard, people think I look older. If it needs trimmed right now, but usually when it's shorter like this, people don't think I'm as old as I am.
I don't even know how old you are.
It's a mystery.
You'll never know.
No, it's out there, but I'm just not going to say it.
Yeah.
This is the first episode to feature outdoor shooting after the first pilot, The Cage, featuring the redressed exterior sets from the Andy Griffith Show. So that was interesting. And then Miri is not only the shortest episode title and the sole proper name title for an episode, but the only one that is rendered on screen in italicized type. So it's a little off, just like the episode.
Yeah. That's a perfect analogy.
Yep, I didn't think of that last time. Glad I thought of it this time.
Nice. Second time is a charm.
The other thing, and this isn't in my cherry picked facts, but this was something I mentioned last time, and it bears repeating because it just makes it even more of a head scratcher. In Adrian Spy's original script, the action is basically the same. However, around 80% of the dialogue is different from Karabatsas' rewrite in the aired episode. Like, so this was the better option?
I feel like it's just going to remain a mystery at this point. I don't know. I can't help you there.
It's an interesting episode. So that will bring us to memes and spoilers without context.
Memes. I just realized I can't remember what mine looks like. When did we record before? I'll find it. Oh, I found it. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
We're good.
Yes.
I know mine. Oh, wait. There's yours. You go first.
Okay. So we will put my spoilers without context up on the screen for everybody to see. So Sloth from the Goonies for... Yeah, I think so. Unless
You're not going to flip it this way.
Do something hanky. No. Yeah, that way. Sloth from the Goonies for the dude with the tricycle at the very beginning. And then the next two are kind of similar, like Lord of the Flies, obviously, for the kids. And then the South Park episode where all the adults vanish. And then, of course, the vaccine, the very effective vaccine. So I had to use the I'm vaxxed sticker.
Is very interesting since COVID happened, because it's just completely... I mean, there was already anti-vaxxers before, but just the what do you call it? Go ahead.
There were, I read this during the pandemic. I read, saw an old newspaper article. Like, there were anti-vaxxers during Spanish flu.
Oh, yeah.
Like, nothing ever changes.
No.
Like, I had no idea, but nothing ever changes.
Yeah. And my dad, who's older, grew up during polio and the iron lung and everything, and literally had fellow students that were in the iron lungs. And he said even back then, but it wasn't as bad as it is now, obviously, because people are stupid. And but he was like, yeah, everyone wore masks and everyone did their part and blah blah blah, but there were still those people that didn't do that. Times don't change too much. But yeah, it's very interesting.
The more things change.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the more things change, the more things stay the same.
Yep. Pretty much. Okay. Onto my meme.
Yes, now we will bring up Ensign Kayla's spoilers without context for you. To that way.
Yes.
that direction.
You got it. So once again, it is the albino dude from Benchwarmers. Because at first I thought like maybe it was someone who was stuck inside. But yeah, outside bad, the sun's scary. And then, you know, the Lost Boys had to put them in there. And the infamous Bonk Doge Shiba Inu meme that we mentioned before. And
Yeah.
when the kid first came out, he kept saying mine, mine about the tricycle. So had to include that one from Finding Nemo.
It was a tricycle, but I almost wanted to throw in the something relating to I want to ride my bicycle, I want to ride my bike, but I didn't.
That could have worked.
Until just now. So there we go. Could work.
Yeah. Ranking? Is that next?
Yes, those are our spoilers without context.
Okay.
Always a fun time. On to
Also,
rank the episode.
If you
Yes.
have your own spoilers or memes from the episodes, please send those in to us either on Instagram or Twitter or our email, which is channelgtfo@gmail.com. And we would love to post those. So if you have any, please send them in. Would love to see. And please follow us on all those things too.
Yeah, all the social media handles are in the video description. Oh, that's such a YouTube thing.
You want to go throw up now?
A little bit.
Save that until after.
Yeah. Ranking the episode.
Yeah.
And Kayla.
I guess I'll go.
I mean, I already know.
Yes, you do already know because we've already discussed this. It's just.
Are you changing your mind?
Almost. I'm still going to say Lieutenant. Just because, like.
I thought you said ensign.
No.
No? Okay.
I'm pretty sure I ended up at Lieutenant. Just because everything except for the creepy Kirk pedo stuff is good. And I don't want to discredit that stuff. But also don't need to watch the creepy stuff.
Yeah.
So, Lieutenant. Yeah. That's mine.
Yeah, I'll go Lieutenant too. For basically all the same reasons that you said, like all the Kirk and Miri stuff is just unnecessary and doesn't need to be there. But I think the rest of the episode is good. The rest of it is good. Like,
yeah.
Without the Kirk and Miri stuff, I think this would be Commander.
Yes, definitely.
But
agreed.
It is definitely hurt by the Kirk and Miri stuff.
Yeah, we can't ignore that. We can't separate it. It's not like you're separating like an author from a series or anything like that. Like it's in the episode. And
but
we would not be. I cannot think of the fucking word right now. Not
doing
true to ourselves. Yeah, doing our due diligence if we just like completely ignored that fact and we're just like, okay, let's base our rankings on everything except for the creepy shit. That's like it's a part of it, unfortunately.
I mean, if you look at all thus far, all the Lieutenant episodes that we've ranked, this is definitely the bottom of the Lieutenant rank. Because it is worth watching if you, again, even Ensign episodes are worth watching.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if we necessarily have to explain our rankings because there's some YouTube channels that do stuff where they like talk about how they do things every video and it gets redundant, and I don't necessarily know if we need to do that. But as a reminder, even an Ensign episode is worth watching. But if you don't want to watch 80 episodes of Star Trek, skip it. Lieutenant, watch it if you have time. But you don't need to go out of your way to watch this one. So, although we've talked about the whole, if you're watching us talk about it without having watched the episode, I'd like to know. Leave a comment.
I mean, there are some
watched
people.
An episode of Star Trek. There's some. I've done it with some series. So
hopefully we're entertaining enough.
Yeah, hopefully at least you enjoy what you're watching us do.
Yes.
So Ensign Kayla and I give Miri a unanimous rank of lieutenant.
Yep.
Our next episode is Dagger of the Mind. And typically in this section, I read the IMDb summary for the upcoming episode. And when we talk about that episode, I did the tvguide.com summary. But the IMDb summary for this episode is kind of spoilery. So I'm just going to read the tvguide.com one.
Okay.
For both.
Okay.
So, Dagger of the Mind. The inspection of the Tantalus penal colony results in the discovery of dangerous experiments on the inmates and staff being performed by the colony's director. I can't see you, but I heard you chuckle as soon as I said penal colony.
I have the mind of a 12-year-old boy. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I will never grow up. I refuse. I absolutely refuse.
None of us have. If you
no.
You and Shauna, who plays Senka over on the Sundered Veil, the game that I run, she'll just sit there and go.
I know. I love her little laughs.
Come up.
They're so cute. So cute.
We were talking about the G key and finding the G spot, and she was just losing it.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, considering some of the other characters were also purposely saying that a lot.
Yeah. It's fun.
Like, it wasn't just like an accidental mention. But anyways, good discussion. Not the best episode, but good discussion.
Good discussion. And again, it's a shame because without the questionable Kirk and Miri subplot, it is a good episode.
Yeah.
It's not to say that it's a bad episode. It's just that stuff definitely brings it down.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And we can't ignore
I don't know why
it.
they did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone, thank you for watching. Thanks for joining us. If you're joining us in the chat live or if you're watching later, thank you. Please remember to smack that like, smack that subscribe, smack that bell icon. Just like everyone smacks everyone in the show because they don't punch each other. Follow us on Instagram at GTFO channel. Same handle for Twitter. If you have any memes, feel free to send those in to us either at those places or at our Gmail, which is channelgtfo@gmail.com. And you can find me at SilverK with 2 Y's on Instagram, as well as that's pretty much it. You'll find everything else from there. Yeah.
If you really want to find me for some reason, just check the description.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time.
Peace and long life.
Live long and prosper.
Bye guys.
Bye, everybody.